This is a short video showing some of the formative assessments we use in our co-taught classroom for earth science. We're going to be presenting them today to you in a station format. First, we have some of the games we use. We use a game called Tip It. We have an electronic version of the spinner, but we'll put students in teams. They answer a question correctly. Then a person from the team can come up, choose a disc to remove, and then the next team goes, and so on until everything tips over. This is a familiar game to most people, Jenga. We've adapted it so that we have color-coded the ends of the Jenga pieces as well as the sticks. Once again, students answer questions correctly. They come up, choose a stick, and then have to remove the color-coded block. We've adapted a game here. It's called Spit It Out. It used to be called Name 3. And so we just have cards where that lend themselves to 3 things. And so we'll ask a student to come up, as this one says, name 3 types of wind. And we turn the timer over, and they have until the beads fall to name the 3 things. Hot potato we use a lot just for a really quick formative assessment. We have a few minutes at the end of class. Students will stand in a circle. We'll pass the potato around, and as it plays music, when the music stops, the student who has the potato has to answer a question. We have slate tables in our science classroom, so we're able to write on them with chalk. We use this both at the end of class for exit tickets, and we also use it for bell ringers at the beginning of class, where students will have a prompt of something that they need to draw or illustrate on their table. It's perfect for Venn diagrams and charts such as this with the phases of the moon. This is an activity called I Have, Who Has, and you start out at the beginning of the class with I have the first card. This happens to be about minerals. It says who has a group of minerals bound together. So the students have to be listening, and the person who has the correct card, which says I have rocks, then reads the next question, who has rocks formed by cooling magma and lava, and so on through the cards until you get to the end. These are fibber cards, and if you notice the fibber cards, there are mostly player cards, but there are a few fibber cards in with these. You again hand these out to students. They don't show each other what they have. The person who has the fibber card is going to lie about the correct answer. And we use these with the ceiling tiles we have in our room. We have ceiling tiles that are painted with A, B, C, and D. So with the fibber cards, we'll ask a question and ask the players and all the students to go stand under the correct answer. The person who has a fibber card is supposed to lie. So that way we can tell which students are simply following those who they think have the right answer, or if they really have the right answer. Using those same ceiling tiles, we use a really inexpensive flashlight to shine, usually in a darker room, to shine onto the correct answer, or we have students just get up and go take a stand underneath the correct answer. We use 3x3 puzzles for vocabulary assessment. These are cards that have simply been cut up. The middle card has 4 terms or definitions around the outside, and students have to match up the term with the definition, the term with the concept, until they end up with a 3x3 card. Clicker cards are a web-based app that we found where you can set them up and ask questions. Students have a card, so you can see the cards have numbers on them, as well as A, B, C, and D. So we assign each student a number. We hand out the clicker card. When we ask a question, then we simply scan. Here I am scanning a scan. We simply scan the cards as the students hold them up, and the app will tell us whether or not they've gotten the answer right or wrong, and records it, excuse the bell, records it on the web-based site. And then finally, we use another web-based program called Kahoot. Kahoot is a web-based program that allows you to enter multiple choice questions, short answer questions, and students can answer them again using a smart device. We usually use iPads, but they can also use smartphones. And they answer the questions, and the Kahoot program keeps up with not only who got the right answer, but who got the right answer in the quickest fashion. So students compete with each other as far as right or wrong answer, as well as the quickness of their answers. So that's it for the formative assessments, and we will be adding in our summative assessments.
All right, so this part of our video is going to deal with summative assessment. And the first thing we wanted to share with you is how we use our interactive notebooks to assess what they've covered for each unit using the essentials that are put out by the state. So at the beginning of each unit, we set up our notebook where we have the essentials printed off from the state, the essential understandings and the essential knowledge and skills. And then they create a side in their notebook in which they're going to have an activity that they complete by the time the unit is done. The directions for that are also included in the notebook, and they stay in the notebook. For example, the first part, they choose 2 things from the essential understandings that they create a diagram about, or some kind of explanation, a chart, a graph, to help explain that into a little bit more detail. The second part is the bottom, where they're using the essential knowledge and skills, and they're going to complete 1 thing for 1 bullet, and they have some choices there. They could create and answer a sample question or problem. They could record the title of an assignment that they did well on, and how it helped them. They could record the title of an assignment that maybe they struggled with, and what they did to kind of relearn that skill or to go back and review it. In addition to the essentials part within our notebook, we also have some other assessment pieces in the back, which include vocabulary review. So we set up a glossary. And so with the glossary, they have their vocab sheets, which includes not just writing definitions, but where they may be labeling a diagram or they're matching things. And then one last thing to kind of get, since we're now kind of in SOL review, we also have SOL weekly sheets. And what they do is they've created a section for that. And we kind of tie this into a bell ringer. And I'll kind of zoom in a little bit on this. But they have where they've got the days of the week on Monday through Friday. And so you can see Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday there. On the back, they have Friday and Monday. So the way this goes in the notebook is they would glue down the middle part, and then they would flip it over and over like that, where they would have Monday. And we go through the week, and each bell ringer each day goes with the week question.
Another way that we do our summative assessments is we use a student response system. We happen to use Mimeo products, so we use the Mimeo vote system, and this is just an example of what those student response handheld devices look like. We would, a lot of times we'll have multiple choice tests, so the students will each have their Mimeo vote and a hard copy of the test. And as they go through the test, it can be self-paced. As they go through the test, they can move back and forth through the little window here. It gives them the number that they're on. It records their answers electronically in the grade book for us. And then when students are done with their assessment, they're able to see their score immediately. So we use those for summative assessments at the end of units, but we also use them interspersed through our lessons for some more formative assessments.
And then the last thing we use is IA, or Interactive Achievement. And so that's a program that our school system has adopted, which really crunches the data for us and lets us know questions specifically that are missed, who's missing them, where we can look up and align them to which objectives and that kind of thing. And that's totally done with a summative at the end. And we use them for our benchmarks.
And one of the problems that we found that we've tried to fix with interactive achievement is interactive achievement does not, at this point, have a true read-aloud option for those students who have the read-aloud accommodation for testing. So once again, we use Mimeo and take our 9-week benchmarks and record them into the Mimeo program and read the questions and answers aloud. so that students who have the read aloud option are still able to go to the computer, take their tests on computer just like their peers, and get that experience of taking their tests on computers, but have the read aloud option as well. So we use our Mimeo votes or our Mimeo system for that for our benchmark testing.
And those are just a few of the summative assessments that we use.
Thank you for watching.